Hey, this is Notser, and today we're going to be taking a look at Submarine gameplay. This is from round 3 testing. It just went live. It has significant changes to the gameplay for submarines. I'm going to show you 2 games. First game, it's pretty straightforward. It's very reminiscent of round 1 or round 2 testing gameplay. And then the second game is going to involve pretty much all of the changed gameplay elements. And we're going to go through those right now. So, the submarine gameplay has changed significantly. Notably, there is no oxygen resource. There is nothing that dictates forcing my ship to the surface. And in fact, I cannot access the surface depth. The only way that you'll ever see a sub on the surface is at the beginning of a game during the countdown before it actually starts. When you gain control of a submarine, it will quickly go to 30 meters depth and you will be underwater. Underwater is the fastest the sub will move, and I think the speeds are 22 to 25 knots, maybe, which obviously is way too fast. It's artificially sped up, but it's a conscious decision for gameplay. So when you're underwater, you can't spot players that are obviously within a normal distance of spotting, as if you were a surface ship. You are using the battery resource, which is brand new. It replaces oxygen. It does not run out at a rapid rate if you're underwater doing nothing. In fact, it's one of the best advantages of the battery. If you want to just exist underwater exclusively for the entire game, you can. Now, you won't get real-time spotting unless, of course, you are successful in pinging out the target. Now, in the previous version, you could only ping the target while at periscope or surface level. Surface is no longer gone. Obviously, periscope, you can still ping. The same rules apply. First ping, homing. Second ping, citadel damage. If you have both on the target, you will do citadel. You need to keep this on the target to actively benefit from homing, actively benefit from the extra damage. That is the gameplay loop that they have designed into this. You are constantly refreshing this. Every time you have a successful ping intersect with the target, though, the enemy team is getting a ping warning and a 3D spot for the general area that I exist at. And if this Hatsuharu wanted to go at me, he could, because he has a general understanding of where I am. But the advantages of ping are just so clear. It's basically a single ship radar. It spots it for all your team, spots it through a smoke or behind an island. As long as that homing is still on 1 or 2 of the sections, they are spotted. This is a huge deal, and you'll notice that it lights up like that. That's confirming that I am giving them information as well, and also that everyone on my team should be able to see this guy. Even if he goes outside of range, he's still going to be spotted. So there's clearly advantages to the ship when engaging. Now, one thing that you'll notice, we just used a widespread sonar ping. There are 2. There's a narrow, which is the old one, and the wide. The wide moves slower, but has more real estate. The narrow moves very quickly. A skillful player will use narrow 98% of the time. This is like comparing wide and narrow torpedo spreads on DDs. You just use narrow because you got to get that good. If you get that good and you're capable of having it intersect with a target, you're pretty much a devastating... You're a long-range radar ship for a single target that can have homing torpedoes that citadel. Clearly, this mechanic is very, very powerful. Like, everyone on my team can see the Normandy, even if no one's in line of sight, because I am keeping him actively spotted. My torpedoes have enhanced damage, and they're going directly towards him. And as long as I'm keeping the double ping, they're going to do double the damage. Obviously, he's a bot, and he ran an island. I mean, he's bad. He's a bot. Big deal. Yeah, oh, wow, this is so easy. So OP. I mean, it's a bot. Who cares? It's bad. I'm not here to show you how easy it is to do this. I'm just telling you the gameplay loop that exists for round 3 testing. And obviously, this works very well, but this is very familiar. I decided to show you 2 games. One game... This is basically round 1 or round 2 testing with slight alterations, obviously the battery and the way you directly control the ping system. But this is not different. This is exactly the same outside of a couple of UI elements. It plays exactly like it did in round 1 or round 2. And I just wanted to show you guys, okay, this is round 3 testing. This is the gameplay loop that maybe drew people to the submarine, but other elements didn't in round 1, round 2. Sub versus sub was hilariously sad. The oxygen mechanic wasn't very fun, and it felt like you weren't really spending that much time underwater. All of that's changed. Now you're going to see, from my point of view, exactly what the underwater gameplay and how it is controlled works. So we are in the U-69. This is the German equivalent tier 6. You'll notice that the battery units is 400, whereas the American one had 600. They are different slightly, but they're so similar I can't really differentiate the actual gameplay that's open up. You know, is one better or worse at underwater submarine attacks? I can't say. That they seem to play exactly the same. There'll probably be more subtlety that's introduced. Now, we are underwater. First of all, this active sonar or this passive sonar that goes across the map, you no longer get compass information. Instead, what you're going to get is you're going to get a very loosely defined 3D ping that will reveal the general location, as you can see me indicating on the screen. And what you can do is you can tie in your sonar ping, and you can send it at these balls of general location. If you are capable of hitting the ping points, you will reveal that location of that target. It will be revealed as if it's in radar to you and to other players. Also, when you get within a certain distance, I think it's 7 kilometers, you will start to see ships actually underwater, or 6 kilometers. But if I were to home a target and he moves outside of that 6 kilometers, as long as the homing is tracking the target, he is revealed to my location, and I can constantly attack him as long as I'm able to refresh my homing. It's a very interesting mechanic, and it's one that, you know, it would be completely broken if not for you do not generate much battery underwater. It is slowly increasing, and that's because I'm under 5 knots. If you, oh, and by the way, Hydro just detected us. Yeah, hydroacoustic detects DDs. But we are sending our torps at this DD, and we got our homing attached. We never got the second portion of the homing, but it doesn't matter. He's a bot. He doesn't understand flooding, I guess. But we take out the target, and notice that our battery isn't really recharging. We need to either stop moving, go under 6 knots speed underwater, or reach the surface. And you send out an underwater sonar ping. Now, that's what you're seeing through the animation. I want the animation improved. I also think that the passive sonar, it needs to not be white. White is very, I don't know, it just looks really weird. It doesn't look like a natural color that I would expect from the sonar animation. Just saying. But it's kind of interesting how it all works. And obviously, once you reach the periscope depth, I can see that these guys are pretty close. But if you sonar ping a person on the surface, then you can continuously keep them spotted underwater, attack them from under the surface in a safer means. Obviously, at periscope depth, I am vulnerable to incoming fire. I am vulnerable to people getting too close and spotting me. It's always a risk. Oh man, I cannot hit these pings. So they've sort of decoupled. This was round 2 testing. The ping requirement for the torpedo. You can send torpedoes. They can be dumb, and then you can activate them with a homing ping. You can activate them before you send them with a homing ping, and then the torpedoes that will be sent will be activated. They react in real time to this homing attachment. It needs to be there in real time, and we're detected by Hydro. Something that, yeah, was kind of a surprise for players, but it shouldn't be. And there we go. We get extra damage on the Leander, and I'm sure he hates us, and I want to kill him quickly. Quickly, torpedoes, reload. He's coming right at us. This is really hairy. We need to kill him quickly. I actually decided to go underwater. But when we're on the surface, our battery recharges very quickly. It would be really hard for you. And is he really going to dodge this? He really dodges this. Wow. But since he's spotted, I could ping him underwater. He actually dies to the flood. I could ping him underwater and keep him spotted and continue this attack from underwater. It's much more periscope, underwater periscope. Do I want to play fast, slow, whatever it means, that is up to your prerogative. There's way more dynamic gameplay here. It's not looking for checks where, oh, okay, you have to be on periscope depth or surface to even consider attacking. I can totally send, and I can totally home in on them. And they will be revealed from my location. And I am actively trying to keep the target spotted. Once the home drops off of him, if he wasn't so close, he would cease to be spotted by me. But obviously, we're able to refresh it. He knows we're right here, and he's trying to come for us. And we're very close. I don't like being this close, and we're too close for the torpedoes to actually activate. So this is an awkward situation. This is a French heavy cruiser that did not get his depth charges. Light cruisers did, but heavy cruiser did not. Basically, the only thing he can do, he can just see that he's being pinged out, a general location, but he doesn't have depth charges for me to worry. Now, there are submarines in the area, and I need to be careful, and I'm going to set up for my stern torpedo, and yes, there is stern torpedo, and oh gosh, the enemy submarine is right in front of us. Not what I want to see at all. But now that we see each other, we can actually ping on each other, move back. The ping will keep him spotted, even if he goes like 6, 7, 8 kilometers away from me, and I could keep a torpedo active engagement. It's actually quite interesting. I didn't really know that this was going to happen this way, and notice we're out of battery, so we can't actually sonar him. I cannot select him. I have to surface or stop moving. Guess what? We're going to go to periscope depth, and we're going to get our battery back. He tried to send, but we're at point-blank range. And I'm just trying to recharge as quickly as I can. I would really like it, Wargaming, if the battery number wasn't associated directly with my ability to target the person. Oh my goodness. Look how close we were to ramming each other and killing each other. Did not want that to happen. I don't think he wanted that either, so we're just going to get some distance away from him. But yeah, one annoying thing that I just noticed from playing this and watching the video again, whenever I'm transitioning between my periscope and my underwater, if I don't have a target selected, I don't see the readout of the battery. The only thing I have is a general indicator on my health bar. I think that Wargaming, you need to offer a little bit more actual information. Not some generic bar that I don't have any real-time information, because I need to know how many actual pings I can do. The U-69, it takes 60 battery charge to send out a ping, so you can do the math in your head. If you have 200, you know, it's going to go pretty quickly how many times you can do it. And oh, goodness, he's going to send forward torpedoes. He's got a lock on us. We've got a lock on him. We've got an evasive maneuver. Now, we could go extreme depths. Oh, torpedoes. Just barely missed us. We should have actually changed our depth faster. Activating max depth and not using it is a waste, Notser. Literally a waste. But yeah, obviously, we are doing way more dynamic gameplay underwater. We are completely underwater. I am dealing with a low reserve of battery, so I need to surface or stop moving. And stop moving is probably not going to happen with a submarine on my butt. But surfacing, maybe we can catch them not looking at us, hopefully. That's the plan, at least. But overall, you know, a lot's changed. A lot has changed to make the gameplay better. I really like the aspects of underwater pinging. I like the limited ability to use pings with battery. I also like that if I want to stay underwater, I can still regenerate my battery, albeit very slow, and it'll work nearly as well as if I was on the surface. I don't have access to wide spread sonar, and I don't have almost that instantaneous battery recharge that the periscope depth provides. But I have the ability to transition between both. And we miss our torps. Great dodge by the sub-tester. He was able to increase his depth or come to the surface to avoid. I'm going to make a terrible mistake. I'm not changing my depth as much as I need to. Changing the depth is one of the best ways to avoid torpedoes. These are just going to hit me and just knock me out. But it is so much more dynamic and interesting. Probably not realistic, but for the gameplay, I think this is the right direction to go. Very curious to see how much it improves or changes. Leave in the comments what you guys think. What do you think of the presented gameplay so far? Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily World of Warcraft videos, first impression, how-to, news, and review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.